Cole, 24. I'm the co-owner and chef of Will Cole Company, and this is my story. My cooking started as a kid, helping my mom in the kitchen. But as far as owning a business and wanting to do that in my own thing, I would say it probably started when I went to school, the French Culinary Institute. I originally wanted to own a restaurant and soon realized that that wasn't what I wanted to do. But I love the confections and candy and cake and the sweet end of it more than anything. Will Cole chocolates started like 3 years ago. And it kind of started more as just a hobby than anything at Christmas time to sell some chocolates at the general store down the street. And then it kind of transitioned more into a job than a hobby. Down the road, flipping from chocolates into the caramel corn, we've now changed the company to Will Cole Company. In June of '09, I was lucky to have a friend, Brian Maddock, join me as a partner. He does all the sales and marketing for Will Cole Company.
I'm Brian Maddock, 24, co-owner and in charge of marketing and sales of Will Cole Company. I joined Will in the spring of 2009. I was actually still at MSU finishing up through the summer, and he called me and wanted to have some help on sales and advertising. I was in advertising, wanted to go into sales. So everything just kind of fell in line. I just started out by helping him, and a couple months down the road, we decided to go 50-50 partners.
It's great to have Brian as a partner because, for one, I can't do what he does. Marketing and advertising is not my specialty, so it's where he, really brings it in, and together as a team, we make a pretty strong company.
Going to college was getting my foot in the door, and now starting a company is going through the door. There's a lot of things that I would love to accomplish with this company, but as of right now, being open for over a year and a half is a huge accomplishment for us. Most businesses fail within the first 2 years, and we're not going to. Somewhere down, 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, if we're still in production, then we're going to be successful. So that's where we hope to be.
The caramel corn is all natural, no preservatives. The ingredients, the one real cool thing about it is that every ingredient on the package is something that at home you can look and identify with. It's not something that you can't pronounce or spell. It's butter, brown sugar. It's very classic ingredients. And then also we use as much Michigan products as possible. Our sugar does come from Michigan, as well as our Michigan cherries come directly from Traverse City. So we do try to use as much local as possible where we can. We do use it.
Community is not bound by the invisible dotted lines on a geographical map. It lives inside us, and we carry it wherever we go. We owe future generations and ourselves a beautiful community. Citizen Corps is a way for people who have the heart and interest to volunteer a small amount of their time, helping their local emergency services create an atmosphere of safety, security, and personal preparedness. If you're interested in joining a Citizen Corps program near you, visit our website. Your community needs you.
Times are tough for small business.
You got to find ways to cut costs.
Without cutting corners.
I mean, how are you supposed to do that?
I'll tell you how I did it.
I cut the phone company.
And switch to Comcast. Comcast Business Class.
My phone plan's better.
My internet's way faster. I cut costs.
Save my business money.
And got way more.
Now I don't have a small business.
I have a fast.
I have a fast business.
Call Comcast Business Class and turn your small business into a fast business.
To the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, the USO delivers the joys and comforts of home, even out here. Donate today at uso.org.
Are you watching that skateboarding kitten video again, Larry? I like kittens.
Larry, you have access to over 100,000 real video clips at COMAST.net from providers like Fox Sports, CBS News, and E! Entertainment.
I didn't know that.
Now you know.
Do they have stuff with kittens?
Enough with the kittens, Larry.
Over 100,000 video clips from trusted news and entertainment sources, only at COMAST.net.
Tune in to Channel 900 to watch 20 Under 30, only on Comcast.
You don't have to take this, Wendy.
Really?
You're a Comcast digital cable customer, so you can stop your on-demand movie and finish it in another room.
I didn't know that.
Now you know. May I suggest a room downstairs?
Any room on demand lets you start watching in one room, finish in another. Learn more at comcast.com/anyroom.
Stopping the brain drain is critical on so many levels for Michigan. We're at a state where we really have the potential to rebuild our economy from the ground up. So keeping young talent here is essential for that. But as a mom, on a really personal level, I have 2 young boys, and I don't want them growing up seeing that the norm is to graduate from college and leave Michigan. I want them to see young, talented, passionate people committed to Michigan stay here, so that's the path that they'll choose as well.
I'm Will Cole, 20 Under 30, and you're watching Comcast. The cakes started up much as the caramel corner chocolates did as a hobby. It was just something that I like to do. You know, I would slowly do 1 or 2 a summer, and they would recommend me to somebody, and I would do a few more. It's taken off, you know, from being that little bit of a hobby. But they're fun to do. You know, you can use your artistic ability. Everyone is different. I chose Michigan mostly because this is where I grew up. I lived in New York for a year to go to school. Would have loved to stay in New York, but it's very expensive. So that was one reason why I came back to Michigan. Now being here, it was more of making it work in Michigan. But I do think in the last 2 years, or maybe even 3 years, Michigan has kind of turned around and become very supportive of local companies. The local food movement with farmers markets and things like that, it's stuff that we participate in. And it seems like communities have kind of grown stronger with those. Pretty much every town now has a farmers market, where 2 years ago when we started doing them, there was one here or there. So I just think Michigan is, even though the economy is bad, really embraces the local companies. Being an entrepreneur is awesome. It's the best thing, being your own boss. Yes, it's a crazy amount of work. There's always a headache or hassle. But at the end of the day, when you can do whatever you want and run your business how you want to, there's nothing greater than that. I believe it's a great time to start a business, because even though the economy is bad, it opens opportunities for other people and other ideas. So hopefully in 2 or 3 years, when the economy turns around, you know, if you can survive now, your business will be booming then.
Will Cole is definitely inspiring to me. He came to me with this great idea of starting a company, and as he's mentioned, we started out as just chocolates, and we've since moved on to caramel corn, and that's what Will is. He can expand his mind to do something as creative. You know, it might be simple, caramel corn, but to think about where we started and where we've come based on these 2 products changing over is incredible.
There's just as many opportunities in Michigan as there are anywhere else. Like I had said with local businesses, people are really starting to grasp local businesses. I think right now is the best time to start a business. You know, in a bad economy, it only opens opportunities for other people. And if you can survive now, then, you know, hopefully in 3 or 4 years when, you know, things are turned around, and we'll have a booming business. I hope to inspire young people by just showing that it is possible to be young and have your own business. Nothing is out of your grasp. Just try hard. It'll be a ton of work. At the end of the day, it'll be very satisfying. You can find us on the web at willcole.com or on Facebook. I'm Will Cole, and this has been my story.
Catch all your favorites. Sign up today and get Comcast digital cable with digital video recorder. You'll catch all your favorite shows whenever you want. Just call 1-888-COMCAST. Comcast digital cable with DVR. It's Comcastic.
Tune in to Channel 900 to watch 20 Under 30, only on Comcast.
Teaching a kid football is one thing. Keeping a kid in school, that's the name of my game. My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
To the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, the USO delivers the joys and comforts of home, even out here. Donate today at uso.org.
This is Comcast Today. We're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. Hi, I'm Janice, and I work at a Comcast Michigan call center where we've instituted a new callback service. During busy times, if you don't want to be put on hold, you can keep your place in line and we'll call you back. We'll even let you know when. Why put your life on hold? Go, do stuff. We'll call you back. Hello, this is Janice. That's Comcast Today. Wait till you see what's next.
Help protect nature's beauty and the environment by recycling your old rechargeable batteries. Call 8772-RECYCLE or visit us online at calltorecycle.org.
I'm Sean Forbes, 28 years old, co-founder of the Deaf Professional Arts Network, and also an artist. And this is my story. My story is when I was growing up in Farmington Hills, Michigan, my parents found out that I was deaf at the age of 2. And from that point forward, you know, they always felt like they weren't going to be able to share the one thing that they really loved. They were both musicians and stuff like that, so the one thing that they loved was music, and I'm sure that it hit them hard that they felt like they wouldn't be able to share the one thing that they loved with me. But they were wrong. When I was about, 4 or 5 years old, my parents saw that I had a knack for banging on things. I was always just banging at things, making music, and they saw that and they decided to buy me a drum set. So for Christmas when I was 5 years old, I got a drum set. And from that point forward, the only thing I wanted to do was be a rock star. I founded a deep end. Really, it started when I was a student at the Rochester Institute of Technology in New York, where the National Technical Institute for the Deaf is located. And when I went to school there, I went from a high school with about 45 deaf students to a school with about 2,500 deaf students. So going from, you know, a small group of deaf kids to a large group, I met so many other people who loved music just like myself. You know, there were a lot of guitar players and drummers and different things like that. And I just realized that there were so many people that loved music, but they were missing a lot of the things that music had to offer. You know, I was very fortunate growing up in a musical household where my brothers would always share music with me. They would always, like, if a new song came up on MTV and there was no closed captioning, my brothers would lip sync the words for me, and they would try to find ways to get me involved. So when I was at college, I saw a lot of people who loved music, and I always had this desire to make music more accessible. Well, it didn't happen until I was on this road trip to Gallaudet University in Washington, D.C., that I was in the car signing all of these songs to all the girls in the car. And from that moment, I started thinking, wouldn't it be cool to have ASR music videos with deaf performers signing the lyrics to the songs in the videos? And from that point forward, I just started thinking of all these ideas and concepts. And, you know, I was very fortunate that my dad was very involved with the Detroit music scene, so I had the opportunity to meet a lot of people in the Detroit music scene. I decided to make a video of myself signing one of Eminem's songs because I knew those people, you know, I knew some of Marshall's friends, and I knew his publisher, and I knew all these people, so I figured, why not do this? We made the video, and I called up Joel Martin, who is Eminem's publisher, and he owns the studio where Eminem records at, and I called him up, and I was like, I have something that I want to show you. And he was like, well, what are you talking about? Because from this point forward, I'd been bugging him because I had met so many people in the Detroit music scene, but he was the only person who had a deaf connection. So I felt like as a deaf person, reaching out to him would be more impactful than trying to reach out to Eminem himself. So he said, come on down to the studio and show me what you had. And they had no idea what I was doing. So that day I went to the studio and I walked in there and I had quite the audience. I walked in the room and I see Eminem right there and I'm like, wow. You know, the artist that I just signed his song to is standing right there. So I put in the DVD and I'm playing the video and Eminem's standing right next to me singing along to his own songs while I'm signing on the screen. And at the end of the video, everyone was like looking at me like just kind of like perplexed a little bit. They're like, deaf people like music? And I'm like, yeah. They like the feeling and the vibrations of music. And, you know, like I was saying before, the one thing that's missing from music for them is the lyrics, which was really important to me. So from that point forward, we decided to form an organization, and that's Joel Martin and myself. The two of us formed an organization called the Deaf Professional Arts Network with the idea of making music and music culture accessible to the deaf and hard of hearing community.
Tune in to Channel 900 to watch 20 Under 30, only on Comcast.
Cancer is a big idea for a small child.
She dreams of being a figure skater. We're trying to figure out what to do next.
Each school day, 2 classrooms of children are diagnosed with cancer.
The doctor said there's hope.
I'll be brave, Mommy.
If I could just take her place.
It's okay, Daddy.
Only research cures childhood cancer. Give today. You can help fund this life-saving research to conquer childhood cancer. Visit curesearch.org today.
Comcast Newsmakers is noticeably different. Here, politicians, public officials, celebrities, and community leaders speak out. The format, 5 minutes, stimulating interviews airing throughout the day, strategically placed on CNN headline news at 24 and 54 past the hour. Comcast Newsmakers, interviews that fit seamlessly into CNN headline news's 30-minute rotation, providing guests the opportunity to speak out about local issues and concerns while appearing on a national network. Comcast Newsmakers on CNN headline news.
I'm Jessica Mendoza, U.S. Olympic gold and silver medalist. I never take my eyesight for granted. Neither should you. Doesn't matter how old you are, you could be losing your vision to glaucoma without knowing it. Take care of your sight. Schedule regular eye exams for yourself and those you love. Call 1-800-437-2423 or go to ahaf.org for free information and publications from National Glaucoma Research.
So some of the things that we can do in order to keep young adults here in Michigan would be to give young adults the resources that they need in order to really live viable lives. Just starting out into adulthood is really hard to figure out where you're going to live, how you're going to pay for your insurance, how you're going to pay for your car, and things of that nature. So I think it's really going to be important and vital that we give young people the opportunity to really be successful launching off into their adult lives.
I'm Sean Forbes from 20 Under 30, and you're watching Comcast. Sean the artist starts at around the same time as Sean, the co-founder of D-Pen. Really, when I was in college, like I said before, the one thing I always wanted was to be a musician. But I knew that I would have to come up with something different, something that was unique to really make an impact. Because I felt like if I just came out as an artist, people would be like, oh, okay, you know, what's the story, what's the background? And I felt like by making this part of music accessible, would lead to this part as the artist where, you know, I'm writing out my own songs and stuff like that. I started working with a kid named Jake Bath. And Jake was about 16 years old at the time that I started working with him. And Jake is actually the son of Jeff Bass, who produced a lot of songs for Eminem himself. And the two of us started working together. The first song that we did was I'm Deaf. That was the first song that we did together. And it was like, wow, we have some chemistry here. And to date, we've created over 50 songs together. You know, the chemistry just exploded. But we've been working together for the past 6 years. And I mean, I released a record last year. I released a music video of my own material. I've opened for Ludacris, and I've done a lot of really cool things, and I'm just hoping to do a lot more. The way that I inspire and motivate people is I think that a lot of people look at me and they see two things. You're deaf, and you're in music. The two don't like really, they're like, it's an oxymoron, you know, and when a lot of people see that, they're like, wait a minute, there's a deaf guy, he's a musician, he's a rapper. How can this be, you know, like, it doesn't make sense. And then when they see it, they're like, wow, this is amazing. This means that anybody can do anything. And my parents have always been like that. They've always encouraged me to do whatever it is I wanted. And there was a lot of people on my journey that told me that I couldn't do anything related to music, and I always told them, you know what, watch me because I will. And I was just purely motivated. I mean, all those people that told me I couldn't do it just made me want to do it so much more. And that's just how I motivate people, you know, whether it's young kids in school that have dreams. And I mean, especially as a deaf person, it's very unfortunate that a lot of parents and teachers sometimes don't encourage the kids in the ways that they should. You know, like, I think a lot of my own teachers and my parents were very supportive, which made me what I am. But a lot of other kids don't have the same. And I wish that more parents would encourage their kids even more, because if you encourage your kids, it only gives them that much more of a chance to succeed. And I'm a prime example of that. I mean, without my teachers and my parents and all of the people who are behind me all of the way, I would not be where I am today. It's amazing to be able to have a dream and see it become a reality. My whole life, from the time I was 5 years old playing drums, all I wanted to do was get on a stage and just rock the crowd. And now that I'm doing that, there's nothing that beats that. You know, some people say that, you know, when you perform, it becomes routine, but every time I perform, I feel inspired, and I know that that inspiration is spreading out to other people. It's amazing. I couldn't have asked for anything better, and just being associated with the record label that supports what I'm doing and believes in what I'm doing. They're a great group of people. They're like family. They are a family. And there's nothing that I love doing more than writing songs and sharing my message. And most of my songs are very positive, or they talk about history, and they talk about, you know, experiences and stuff like that. They're not about, like, typical hip-hop songs where you're talking about girls and cars and money and stuff like that. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be more inspirational and teach you something and share something from inside, because I feel like music is something that you feel, and I want people to feel my music. I have a scholarship myself, the Sean Ford Scholarship, and the idea is that there's so many talented deaf and hard of hearing artists out there, painters, video makers, and there's so many talented people out there that I want to give them the opportunity to be able to go to college, to be able to go to school, because there's so many people out there that are not able to afford school. Sometimes people are like, I don't need to go to school, and they go and find another job, whereas their real talent lies right here. But they go off in these different routes and they become, you know, mechanics or other things. I would like to see more deaf and hard of hearing artists really drive towards becoming artists, you know, making a living like I am. And I think that inspires a lot of people too, when they see that I'm in music and I'm making a living doing it. And how can I do that? You know, what can I do? And I always try to inspire them to think outside of the box. You know, don't be typical, don't be conventional, be something different. I know a lot of friends who have left, and that's very disappointing to me, because I know that they've tried hard to find jobs here, and I encourage, you know, a lot of people to try to find jobs, but it's just really difficult right now. But like I said before, you have to think outside the box. You need to try different ways, maybe find another career, go back to school. I don't know. You know, I just wish that more people would stay here and be a part of this community, because even for the deaf community, it's even twice as hard to find jobs here, and a lot of them are moving to Washington, D.C. and other places because it's just difficult here. Being an entrepreneur is important to me because I get to be creative and I get to be involved with other creative people, and together as a team, you know, just creating things is amazing. You know, I've moved away from Michigan 3 or 4 times now, and I always come back because my family's here. I love it here. I just love the community and everything. I just love being a part of Detroit and a part of Michigan. My whole life is here. I have 2 houses up north that my family goes to, and, you know, it's the summers here and everything. I love Michigan. Michigan is home.